Texas, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, the Carolinas, and New York. So nice to see you all. For those of you who are new, my name is Crystal. I'm with Ascension One Collective, the foundation that supports the work of the channel. I'm here today to guide you into and out of the session. We've been offering these live stream events to deepen our practice at home. In the last week's series, we explored finding purpose. This week's series, we're going to talk about love. As always, I have some newcomers, so I'm going to share a little bit to give these folks context for the work. Asil studied within various spiritual traditions over the last 18 years. 5 years ago, he had a strong spiritual experience that opened up this connection that today we refer to as the channel. This is a connection to both powerful energy and wisdom that during the sessions he will embody and bring through. Through this connection, energy will come through him and reach all those who are tuning into the live stream. This energy will allow you to go deeper in your meditation, as well as receive information which will often take the form of spoken transmission, or in your own way, visions, messages, or an inner knowing. The process for Asil to get into trance includes spontaneous movements of his hands and body, sometimes shaking of his body, fast breathing, and as the energy level rises, sometimes his eyes will roll upwards. It may not seem it, but this is all normal. His everyday human consciousness is still available to him while he's channeling, and he can stop the embodiment at any time. The channel will bring through guides that will specifically introduce themselves with the name humanity has given them. You might recognize some of the names as angels or archangels, but they never refer to themselves as such. Once the energy field is established, then an energetic alignment begins. People report having powerful experiences even over live stream, so it's really easy. During this time, sit back and focus on being in an open meditative state. Just by being receptive, you've included yourself in the energy field, so there's nothing else you need to do. During the session, you may also bring a loved one into your mind and heart and have them receive the benefits as well. You can set an intention. You can release any old wounds, thoughts, emotions that no longer serve you. People share often that things come up for them even in the absence of an intention. Flow with that also, just accept all that arises. Once the energy alignment is complete, Asil will embody another celestial being who usually allows for questions to be asked. This is typically who we call Emmanuel. If you'd like to ask a question, feel free to type it into the Questions tab at the bottom of the screen in Crowdcast. The production team will then choose a few questions to ask the channel from this list. Keep in mind, there are a few hundred people watching this right now, so center yourself before you ask the question and ask yourself, what's the best way to ask this question that would serve the most people? We've found that Emmanuel's answers are typically phrased in a way that serves the greater good, so if you're looking for a personal answer, the answer may not align with your expectation. The energy field pulls us into an interesting collective state, so you might find that if you have a question in your mind, you receive the answer in someone else's questions, or silently inside yourself. We have a Crowdcast poll running at the Polls tab at the bottom of the screen. We'd like to know how this work impacts you. It's one question at the beginning, how are you doing before the session, and one after the session. With a simple scale from 1 to 5, it's very easy to answer. Please take a second and let us know how you're doing right now. For people who can offer a donation, it not only supports Asil, but it supports the whole production team. Many of you donated to the last session and have donated already to this one. It's truly appreciated, and it really helps us keep this work accessible. We have links to donation options in the chats. We invite you to listen with an open mind and an open heart. We recommend that you listen in a space where you can't be interrupted and you turn your phone off. We also recommend you stay tuned in through the entire session. You will know when we're moving from one part to the next. If you're in a deep meditative state at the end of the energy transmission, it's okay if you can't hang on to every word thereafter. The benefit of staying with us is what's most important, and the words can be replayed and read later. We are recording the audio and video and will provide the video and transcript following the event on our website and social media pages. As the session ends, we will sit together in silence for a few minutes and give you all enough time to come back into this state of awareness. Enjoy your journey. I'll see you back here upon your return.
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining from across the globe. It's quite a pleasure and an honor to be supporting you with this work, as well as to connect with you in this way, to expand our consciousness, to practice, to go deeper inwards, to contemplate and reflect on important topics. And together in community, this work is even more effective, even more impactful. And all of you make up the community. So thank you for joining. In this work, the topic of love has been pretty obviously a big topic. And while there is so many different forms of love, the channel speaks often of the love of creation, the unconditional love of existence. And in some ways, they're trying to get us to that place of experiencing that love on a continuous and sustainable basis. And that also impacts our love in human relationships, our love for life, our love for ourselves, our love for others, our love for Earth. All the various conditional types of love are equally important to explore and to learn from. And directly to love, connect relationships. Our relationships, the one that we carry with ourselves and with others, with the earth and with the sun and the cosmos and the divine. It's quite powerful what we can discover when we look a little deeper about how we operate within our relationships. When we become slightly more aware. When we become more conscious of what's happening in our mind, in our heart, in our spirit, in our body. And then we make conscious effort to align, to realign, all of the good stuff. Well, I'm excited for you to be here, for you to be experiencing this work. I always recommend that you try the second and third and fourth, and I know many of you are regulars, and the continuous effort, the consistency of practicing and reflection and contemplation makes a difference. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. So thank you for being here. Greetings, I'm Raphael. Love is the ultimate fabric of all of existence. The energy that binds all dimensions and all forms of consciousness together. The connective tissue of consciousness. The connective tissue of existence. No matter if material, non-material, no matter the dimensions, the planes of existence, love is ever present, unlimited in its form, unconditional in its delivery. This fabric of existence available to you and providing for you all that is required to create life, to create growth and evolution. This is the love of creation. The love of creation existed before we have existed, and it will exist after we have existed. It has provided all resources and the fuel for consciousness to exist. And it will continue to provide for you as well as for other forms of consciousness that are evolving equally. Love can only be experienced in relationship. The first relationship a form of consciousness establishes is with itself, a recognition of its existence, an awareness of its existence. In this initial relationship, consciousness starts to understand that it is alive. It starts to perceive its environment after perceiving itself. This initial state of awareness is fueled by the love of creation to provide for the perspective of self-awareness and self-recognition. This initial step, all forms of consciousness must go through. This initial relationship, therefore, is intrinsic to all forms of consciousness at its most core, at its most fundamental level. The relationship you hold to yourself, the relationship that you hold in awareness of existence, in awareness of this love of creation. Most misalignments in life, in evolution and growth, stem from this original relationship established between your self-awareness as consciousness and the unconditional love of creation. Strengthening this bond, reassessing and reevaluating this most basic yet fundamental connection and relationship becomes therefore a critical aspect of the evolution of consciousness at its core. You will go through many phases of learning, of experiencing, and of loving. And first with yourself, eventually with the environment, with other forms of consciousness around you, individualized forms, in human form, individualized forms, as all that this earth can provide in material form of consciousness. Individualized forms of non-material consciousness accessible to your plane of existence. All these relationships will and can be formed over time with the expansion and growth of your consciousness, with a deeper level of understanding of this fabric of existence, the love of creation. Understanding intrinsically that you are connected to all of existence, bound together and fueled by the same source of love. Through this exploration, a deeper level of understanding will fuel your curiosity, will fuel your devotion and dedication. Your will, your desires and wants will then be directed to understanding love in all forms and shapes that it is provided for. Human relationships. The first with the parents, the guardians that provide for you upon your arrival in the human form. This initial relationship, most basic, yet deeply effective in understanding the closest form to unconditional love, while in material existence. One's self-recognition and awareness establishes within the soul that has entered into human form a deeper understanding of its connection to this earth establishes itself. Exploration with nature and beings of nature. A bond that is immediately felt. A bond that provides until the very end of one's lifetime. love comes through many forms by nature to you. Provision of energy, food, nutrition, warmth, water, air, the senses, and the life force that is provided by this earth, as well as by the sun and the cosmological bodies. This life force continuously providing for your life, for your existence, for your experience in human form, so you can explore even further other shapes and forms of love, deeper understanding of your emotional aspects, deeper understanding of your mental and physical, as well as energetic spiritual constructs. A deeper understanding of love from all perspectives available to you. Experiencing physical love and the care that this body can receive. The response that it will provide upon receiving love in various forms, through nutrition and through touch, through the senses, through emotional connections, through reception by nature. The body will respond accordingly. Your emotional center that responds to various forms of love through the emotional bonds established in relationship with other human beings. The heart conditioned by the many experiences since birth, by the many experiences of past lives, by the experiences delivered to you, by the lineage that you have chosen to enter into. Many layers and constructs delivered into this very emotional heart center of yours. Many of these constructs require contemplation, reflection, and to be fully understood, to be dismantled and rebuilt. In this exploration of love within the heart center, a deepening and a closing to your relationship and to all of existence will be built. It is a way of returning to the original love that brought you here in the first place and that keeps you here. The unconditional love of creation. Understanding that all forms of love are indeed flavors and facets of this original love of creation. The mind will respond to relationships established, the mind will respond. To love experienced and observed in collaboration with the heart that provides the impulses to act. The mind will judge, discern, and select, direct attention and will towards action to experience love in its very many forms, to replay the constructs that have been established in order to come to a deeper realization of love itself, of relationships itself. Thank you for receiving this work in deep exploration of your understanding, your perspectives of love. Thank you for receiving this work. My work is complete. Greetings, my name is Emmanuel. You have received this work as our expression of love to you. While this may come, while this might come as our form of love, and the intention without conditions in the interaction between two forms of consciousness, conditions will always be present. Striving for unconditional love will only approximate a form of consciousness to come to the same relationship that it has with the love of creation while never achieving it. Therefore, even this relationship that we hold with you is conditional. While some conditions may not be able to be fully comprehended, understood, or seen, while this may truly, in the purest of its intent, be unconditional in its nature, delivered and received, the experience of an individualized consciousness with the love of creation cannot be recreated between two forms of consciousness. Yet understanding and knowing this form of unconditional love within you, ever present, will be the guiding light to experience many forms of love, to direct attention and intention, your will and dedication into understanding love in the very many forms it arrives in your life, approximating towards unconditional love, removing each of the conditions one by one, understanding the constructs that hold the conditions in place, dismantling the constructs that establish the conditions. This evolution within you of deepening your love to all other forms of existence, to become as close as possible to the love of creation that is within you. Even the experience and the relationship established with the divine, higher planes of consciousness, angels, creators, forms of consciousness of many different planes of existence. The relationship with the divine will teach the individual reaching and establishing this relationship about divine love, an essentially very close version of the unconditional love of creation. In this exploration, the individual will observe the divine love within the aspect of you that is divine, and therefore always connected to the divine. The aspect of you that will start to understand that all love received from outside can only be as close as possible to the love that is possible within you, as the fabric of creation within you delivers its purest and its most original form of love. This source within yet requires exploration, requires reminders and guidance, devotion, dedication, and the desire to explore, the curiosity and the bravery to face all the constructs that prevent from understanding, from embracing and appreciating the love that is established within you. The divinity within you, the unconditional love of existence within you. Receive these reminders from the relationships established in human form. Receive the reminders from all forms of material consciousness. Receive these reminders from non-material forms like ourselves. Yet understand that all forms of love will always be an approximation to the unconditional love within you. Establishing this foundation within you, therefore, will enhance your experience with all forms of consciousness. A strong foundation within does not negate the desire, the exploration with other forms of consciousness. In the contrary, it will increase your availability, your capacity for relationships. It will provide a shining example in human form. It will provide a perspective that rarely is perceived in others. This relationship with yourself cannot be disguised It is visible and can be felt by others. No action, no expression can ever disguise the true relationship you have with the divinity within yourself. And this strength, this capacity, this bond within you will present itself in your deepest moments of presence. Others will see and observe the way this bond has been forged, unveiled, and re-established within you. You will have no longer conditions for yourself to receive this love of creation in its full extent. You will create no longer limitations on how much, when, and if you are deserving of this love of creation. The conditioning of your mind, the conditioning of your heart, the conditioning of your body will start to release its grip on your capacity to receive an unlimited source of unconditional love. This is the potential that lies within you. This is the potential that we assist you to move towards. And as you move towards this individualized potential, humanity's collective potential increases, and humanity as a collective understands its relationship to existence, its relationship to the love of creation. This revelation is truly a critical element of your self-realization journey and eventually of the ascension process of humanity. With grace and courage, we remind you to move towards this love that is within you, to observe in all the ways that you have been conditioned and you have kept yourself from receiving, from holding and transmitting. In moments of deep presence, this love will become very prevalent. It will fill all aspects of your being. It will overflow beyond your being into your immediate environment. And you will start to direct the overflowing energy based on your attention to others, to situations and misalignments within the world, within humanity. The overflowing love of your existence will start to make its ripple effect, the change that you will bring forth through your deep level of presence. Thank you for listening to my words. I will now answer some of your questions.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Jeff asks, "Hello, Emmanuel. How can we remove the limitations that are set by our bodies, minds, and hearts in order to receive the love of creation and the power of the planet? How can we surrender more and more to this energy?"
First, find stillness, silence for your mind, for your heart and your body. A safe environment where you can explore the thoughts, the emotions, and the physical misalignments that are present. Allow these aspects of your being to come to surface, to provide you the details of your established being, of the conditioning that you carry, of the imprints you carry, of the misalignments that have accumulated over this and previous lifetimes, over the many generations of your lineage. These aspects of your being, the conditioning as well as the limitations, will resolve when fully understood and observed, contemplated and reflected, and eventually come to realization. As each aspect of your being resolves, potentially new aspects will come to surface. A limitation based on another limitation in the first place. And while seemingly endless, and truly you will come to understanding that the love within you and your relationship with yourself is truly improving. Your level of presence is improving. This, in return, will increase your capacity to feel and to receive this love of creation. With an increased capacity of this unconditional love, even more aspects of your being can be addressed. Even more limitations and constructs of the mind and of the heart can be dismantled, rearranged, understood, and re-established. In this continuous cycle of exploration, realization, surrendering, and deepening the level of your presence, the level of your connection to this unconditional love, you will continue to move forward. Every step will present progress. Every step will present growth and evolution. And the love within you will take shape, not just in your presence, but in all actions, in all words, and in all thoughts that arise within you. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Bhavna asks, "In our conditional love relationships here, both platonic and romantic, so many end with deep pain. How can we transmute and heal this pain to expand our potential to love again? Is pain in love required for growth?
In the human experience, pain is reserved to point out misalignments within. The pain that you experience is truly a teacher to represent and to present to you at which aspects of your being misalignments hold you from truly being in love, being in deep connection with the love of creation, being in deep connection with yourself, in love with yourself. When these aspects of self, connection, and self-love are replaced by outside parties, outside forms of consciousness, the removal will bring forth pain, the pain that has been there in the first place, yet now came to surface, became present and visible. The pain does not derive from the removal of an existing relationship. The pain derives from the clarity that arises in which ways you have not loved yourself and replaced this missing connection to yourself with another individual. Therefore, the individual provides a great service to you. While pain is always often observed as a negative act, as an act of disservice and discomfort, pain can be observed as an element of yourself to grow. And each moment of pain will allow for a realignment, for contemplation and realization. A deeper level of love will occur as a result within you. A realignment of your heart, as a result, will bring forth new relationships at a deeper level of presence with each other, allowing for the exploration of your expansion of consciousness beyond the romantic and platonic connections established in conditional forms of love. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Martha asks, is there a connection between love and alchemy? And what is the most helpful way to love all creation?
A conditional form of love provided to you by another human being, by material consciousness as well as non-material forms of consciousness, can truly alchemize a transformation within the individual. A powerful bond of love is indeed an important aspect of the evolution of the individual. Your evolution, your understanding of yourself, Alchemy is in this context perceived as evolution, as growth in the highest sense. Additional aspects of energetic as well as spiritual expansion and building of capacity can truly be induced by a strong source of love, be it conditional, while the source of unconditional love is still being discovered. Even conditional forms of love can therefore be powerful sources for alchemy, for growth alone as well as in connection with another. The spiritual growth will then provide for a deeper understanding of self, a deeper understanding of the power that lies in this transmission of love through you. Can you become a transmitter of love as you discover this unconditional love within you? The transmission of this love, can it indeed be unconditional by itself? It will take time, yet eventually an individualized human being can become a pure vessel of the unconditional love of creation. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Ramsey asks, Dear Emmanuel, can we love everything and everybody equally? And how can we measure the love in ourselves? Thank you.
Your capacity to love is often derived by multiple factors, the constructs of the mind, that prevent from delivering and receiving love, the constructs of the heart that prevent receiving and delivering love, as well as the alignments in the physical form that allow for the flow of this form of energy to move through without barriers and restrictions. One step at a time, as you become more present, as you dismantle the conditions that you established for loving and receiving love, your love will expand from you, from yourself into others, others and everything, and eventually others, everything and all the time. This continuation of your understanding of love, your transmission of love, may take a period of time, a lifetime, many lifetimes to fully achieve. Yet it is an important and a worthwhile journey taking. How can you love more? How can you become a vessel of love at all times? A presence of love, transforming purely, by being. Measuring the love within you is represented directly by your level and your depth of presence. The deeper present you become, the more capacity for love, the more capacity for the flow of this energy. As the energy is not directed to the past or to the future, restricted in constructs of the mind, beliefs and perspectives, judgments and opinions, not restricted within the heart by the emotional constructs established within this lifetime, the conditioning of the previous generations and of society. As the human form, the physical form, is cared for in the right way, it will allow for a deeper level of presence as well as deeper flow of this unconditional love. You will feel the difference. You will feel a deeper presence and deeper love for yourself, and others will observe this level of love within you as well. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Inez asks, Dear Emmanuel, my daughter and I share a wonderful love and also a genetic illness. All of these years, I have associated love with worrying about her. Will this energy alignment and the work be helpful to keep her healthy? And also, will it help me learn how to love without fear and worry?
The energy alignment that you receive and your daughter receives will be of support for the condition that you both carry, an ancestral burden that you both continue to bear. Yet in these times of change, these burdens of the past will become aspects of the past, no longer relevant for the present and the near-term future. Misalignments of this kind will start to change and shift and relieve those that have chosen to walk this path of evolution and expansion of consciousness. The love that you hold for your daughter is pure, tainted by your worries and fears, your doubts and your mistrust. Mistrusting life, mistrusting this love of creation, mistrusting this earth and the energy of this earth, mistrusting yourself. As you can see, many providers equally care for your daughter beside yourself, and she is and will continuously and always be cared for, with or without your worries. Understanding the deeper meaning of the worries that you hold, the fears that you hold, the fears of the future and of the present, established by fears of the past. This will be your journey of liberation. And this journey that you take will liberate your relationship and deepen the bond that you hold with your daughter. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Denise asks, how and why do our souls choose their love partners and family partners? Why is there so much love between certain partners and such pain and lack of love between others?
Before entering the human form, a soul chooses important explorations, important learnings and realizations to be had. These realizations will often be chosen to be established with specific, individualized souls, sometimes over many lifetimes. These connections and bonds established serve in its most effective way for the evolution of the soul choosing to enter into human form. That is you. The exploration of love will take many forms and shapes. Do not misunderstand discomfort for lack of love, or comfort for the presence of love. Do not misunderstand pain for the lack of love, or the absence of pain for the presence of love. Love takes many shapes and forms, not always the ones that feel sweet and comforting in the very moment. A form of love, indeed, is the revelation of the ways that you restrict yourself from loving and receiving love. These revelations often come associated with pain of the past, traumas and misalignments of the past, conditioning of the past. The revelations of these elements of your being often presented to you in the presence of another human being in deep intimate connection, in strong presence of love. Deep aspects of pain may come to surface. As you can see, even this element of observing the pains, to finding alignment, to finding love, self-love, and your own journey to self-realization is an important aspect of relationships. As you love yourself more with every step and every effort that you make, you will start to love others, and others will start to love you the way you want to receive love. If elements within you constrict yourself from loving yourself in certain aspects of your being, the shadows of your being, the elements of your being that do not deserve love from your conditioning and perspective, then the love that you would want to receive is not the love that you will get. It will be the love that will bring liberation to you, the love that will bring the discomforts, the love that will bring forth potential pain, so that you may realize in all the ways you haven't loved yourself, in all the ways you have been conditioned to love in a specific way and not in other ways. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Emmanuel. David asks, greetings, Emmanuel. How does love and how do relationships differ as we ascend to the fourth, fifth, and dimensions beyond? Does the emotion of love change? Do relationships change? Thank you.
In higher planes of non-material existence and in the plane prepared for humanity for its ascension process, love and relationships indeed will change form. While all aspects of human experience will be represented and available to the individualized as well as to the collective to replay and to re-experience, the emotion of love in material form will not be the same. It will be represented by the level of presence an individual carries, by the level of presence an individual soul holds within the collective. This level of presence will provide the flow of unconditional love, this unconditional love of creation. Bonds that have been established before, as well as bonds that will be established once in non-material form, will offer exchange of energy of conditional as well as deep relationships. As you can see, life itself, the experience of life itself will change, yet the essence of love will remain. It will be represented and shared and experienced in slightly different ways, ways that are beyond the comprehension of the human mind as it stands currently. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Bree asks, sometimes I feel an overwhelming sense of love. I have a desire to share it and direct it into the collective. Can you share some ways I might be able to do this?
First, share it with all aspects of your being. Experience the love in all the cells of your body. Experience the love in all aspects of your heart, in all the ways you have seen yourself, in all the ways the past has shaped you, in all the ways you have been conditioned, in all the ways you have held relationships in the past. Let this love fill all memories of your mind, the conditioning and the beliefs of your mind, the perspectives and opinions, the judgments that you hold, the shadows of your subconscious and your unconscious, the shame, the guilt. All aspects of your being shall be filled first with this love that you experience. Shine this light into all of the dark corners of your being allow it to fully embrace you and embody you. Once this process is complete, your entire being will start to be overcome with this love and expand further. When the moment arises of this expansion with intention directed towards individuals as well as collective situations, you may be able to direct this pure source of love you become a vessel of love, a vessel of light, directing, transmitting this divine flow of creation through you as a divine representation of creation. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Aaliyah asks, how can I best center myself and open in my heart to attract the truest and highest love partnership romantically and with all? Thank you.
As you have observed the alignment within, a deeper level of presence, the dismantling of the constructs of the heart, the dismantling of the constructs of the mind, contemplation and inner alignment to come to deep places of peace within, is the pathway to establishing a stronger connection of love for yourself. An individual that is truly in that place will attract another individual on a similar journey. And your energies will continue to support each other in your evolution, in your growth, and finding new misalignments and attunements that require so that both of you can grow. And a deeper sense of love will emerge from this place. Until this level of self-love is established, the partners that you will attract will be the ones that you need to come to a level of self-love that is representative of the partners that you attract. The environment around you, the relationships around you are established by the state that your inner being, your inner alignment holds. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Emmanuel. This is a community question. What is the role of our understanding of love in the awakening of humanity and the ascension process of humanity?
Love in its many forms will continue to exist until the very end and the completion of the ascension process, the completion of this material form. Humanity will continue to explore the many forms of conditional love, a deeper understanding of unconditional love within. Love has always served humanity in its evolution and growth, and will continue to do so. The levels of love that can be achieved on the self-realization journey are beyond most individuals' experience as well as comprehension. A love beyond words, a love beyond feelings, a love beyond perspectives of the ego, an immersion into the experience of being part of existence itself. These forms of love, these experiences in individual form, will fuel the evolution of the individual and the bonds and relationships to this individual, as the love established within will start to fuel the love established in relationships. This love will create the container as well as the environment for the realization process of others. Others to be seen, heard, directed and guided to their own self-realization journey. For them to experience the love that has been found, that has been witnessed in another human being. Love and the exploration of love will be instrumental in the ascension process of humanity. Thank you for your question. Thank you for the time that you have allocated for your evolution, for your growth, and for your self-realization. May this expression of love from us to you inspire you, provide you with the courage, with the will and the devotion to continue your journey. Thank you for joining. That was quite a journey. I guess we'll have a lot to talk about. I hope that this expression of love from us to you also finds its way into your heart, and through you into the hearts of many others. This is how we make a difference in the world. We become the change that we want to see. We become the love that we want to receive. Thank you for joining.
Welcome back, everyone. Take your time to come back into your body. Take any extra time you need in a sitting or lying position, or stay in this state as long as you need to. As we're coming back, I have a few gentle closing remarks. If you'd like to continue this journey, there are a few ways to do it. We have social media pages like Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube that you can follow and share. You can invite family, friends, and community to these weekly sessions. You can join our Monday integration calls. Recently, we launched a new interactive online course to complement the book transmission. Registration for and details about the course are still available by clicking Call to Action at the bottom of the Crowdcast screen, or by going to asiltoksal.com transmission-deep-dive. We hope you consider joining us. We have a second advanced practitioner course, one called Basecamp, beginning in September. If you'd like to pre-enroll and be considered by Emmanuel, please go ahead to our website, asiltoksal.com, and click under courses. A reminder for those who joined our first Basecamp in June, the second course, Ascent, is starting August 4th. We hope you join us there. These sessions are just one part of the work that we do. We also travel to both sacred sites and sites of global trauma to do energy alignment work. Once we're able to travel again, we'll resume a tour through Europe and take a group of participants on a retreat to Greece. In the meantime, if you want to explore our previous sacred site adventures, we created a sacred site webpage. It's up on our website. This work is possible because of donations we receive. It not only supports Asil, but it supports the whole production team. As you would imagine, it takes the love of a village to bring the channel to this space and then beam it out to you all. If you find this of value, please consider supporting this session with a donation. And there's 3 ways to do this. If you're in Crowdcast, there's a donate button at the bottom of the screen. There's also 2 donate buttons on the left side of the homepage at asiltoksal.com. Or you can donate via PayPal, paypal.me/ascension1. Or you can become a Patreon patron at patreon.com/asiltoksal. A quick reminder about the ending poll. In the beginning, we asked you how you were feeling. We'd like to ask the same question. Simply click on the poll button at the bottom of the Crowdcast screen and answer that question for us now. If you want to share deeper about your experiences, we have that community call on Mondays. We also created an email address, testimonial@ascension.one. Energy work is felt in so many ways, and it's helpful for us to have an understanding of how you're impacted. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for contributing your presence and your time and your love. Despite being physically separated, when we gather in this way, I know we are in this together, and I feel the collective support we have for one another. Take it easy after the session. Give space for the energy to continue to work. If you can, keep your mind quiet. If you can't, bring this presence and peace to whatever it is that you need to do. I feel love emanating from all of you, and that warms my heart.